So a lot of people want to know what the difference is between a puck lift kit and a preload lift kit. Believe it or not, the difference is going to be pretty startling and you're not going to expect the results. So let's get started. So if you buy a preload suspension kit, which is a shock that is basically, it raises up your spring for higher compression and it raises up your suspension, 2-3 inches, depends on the kit you're getting. What this ends up doing is it puts an extra 800 pounds of pressure on the spring. That means that it takes an extra 800 pounds of pressure on your tire before your tire can start compressing. This takes away from your articulation off-roading by 800 pounds. So you're putting 800 pounds of extra pressure on this tire before it articulates, which means you're taking 800 pounds of pressure away from the other wheel. So those kits actually do more harm than good when it comes to off-roading. Now this is a puck kit. This is what's called a puck kit. This block here raises my suspension up 2 inches. What it doesn't do, it doesn't preload my spring assembly. What this means is this spring assembly there's no extra compression in it, and I don't get that bad 800 pounds of extra pressure needed to start my compression. The spring compresses like normal, and I get good travel and articulation off this wheel. So even though puck kits get a bad name, they're actually very cheap and they don't force your wheel to have extra pressure during your articulation. They're actually really good for off-roading. The difference is when you do a puck kit is you need to take away just a little bit away from your total traveling. So this little washer here lowers my bump stop just a little bit, and it takes out about a ½ inch, maybe more like 3/8 of an inch of my total articulation travel. That's not a bad thing because I'm not losing my articulation from the spring, so my spring rate is the same. It just means I'm losing just a little bit, about 3/8 of an inch from my upward swing articulation. But I still get a 2-inch lift out of it, so I'm actually gaining almost 2 inches of articulation swing from this kit. So puck kits are actually really good for doing off-roading. Whether people know it or not, it's actually a really good idea. Now, puck kits generally are good for 2 inches of articulation. 2-inch lift is probably the max I would do with a puck kit. Any more, and you really need to go through your entire suspension setup to change everything from your upper control arm to a different set of springs and a different shock absorber. So you really need to change everything out for a 3 or a 4-inch lift kit. That's why a 2-inch puck kit is really great. Anything more, you're going to put a lot of money in your truck and you'll get the correct suspension, but you just need to replace a lot of parts. But like I said, don't buy the shock absorber that raises this up and puts the extra pressure in the spring, because those, true, you're going to get a 2-inch lift, but because of the extra pressure on that spring, you're going to lose a lot of articulation. And you can see a lot on off-road trucks where when they're going off-road and they're hitting a rock with one tire, it ends up lifting the other tire off the ground because you're adding that extra 600 pounds of pressure. So I hope this helped you out with deciding what type of lift kit you want to do with your truck. Like I said, a 2-inch lift, I would go with the puck kit. They're a lot cheaper and you still get all your articulation out of it. With the shock compression kit, you lose a lot because, just like I said, it's going to take 800 pounds of extra pressure to compress this wheel and get the suspension to go up. Anything higher, like a 3-inch lift kit or a 4-inch, you have to do almost a complete suspension change out. So I hope this helped you out.